The moment my cousin threw her bouquet directly at my aunt's face, I knew this wedding was about to become a war zone. But let me back up. If you've ever dreaded a family gathering, if you've ever felt that knot in your stomach when you see certain names on a guest list, this story will validate everything you felt. By the end, you'll know exactly how to handle toxic relatives, and I'll share the boundaries that literally saved my sanity. But first, you need to understand what happened at my cousin Jessica's wedding, because what started as a beautiful June ceremony in upstate New York turned into the most chaotic, dramatic, unhinged family event I've ever witnessed. And I grew up in a family where Thanksgiving dinners regularly ended with someone storming out. This was different. This was nuclear. And wait until you hear what happened during the father-daughter dance. You won't believe it. The powder keg. Jessica wasn't supposed to make it down the aisle. Not because she didn't love Marcus. Her fiancé was perfect. Kind, patient, had a good job as a civil engineer, loved her family despite their, let's call them, quirks. No, Jessica wasn't supposed to make it down the aisle because our family had a long, proud tradition of ruining important moments. Her older sister Emily's graduation, Aunt Beverly and Uncle Jim got into a screaming match about his new girlfriend in the parking lot. Lasted 40 minutes. Emily cried through the whole ceremony. Her brother Tom's engagement party, Grandma Rose announced she was cutting everyone out of her will. Just dropped it right there between the shrimp cocktail and the champagne toast. So when Jessica sent out wedding invitations to 150 people, including relatives who hadn't spoken in a decade, we all knew. We knew something was going to happen. The question wasn't if, it was when, and how bad. The seating chart from hell. 3 months before the wedding, Jessica called me at 11 p.m. She was crying. "I can't do this," she said. "I've been working on the seating chart for 6 hours, and there's literally no way to seat everyone without starting World War III. She wasn't exaggerating. Here's what we were working with. Table 1, the aunt situation. Aunt Beverly, Dad's sister, divorced Uncle Jim 5 years ago after he cheated with his dental hygienist. Hadn't spoken since, but both had to be invited because they were immediate family. Uncle Jim, now engaged to said dental hygienist, who absolutely had to come as his +1 because they were practically married already. Aunt Beverly's new boyfriend, Trevor, a 29-year-old CrossFit instructor she met on Tinder. Beverly was 56. The family had opinions. Table 2, the sibling drama. Jessica's mom, Diane, and her sister, Aunt Patricia, hadn't spoken in 3 years after Patricia accused Diane of stealing their mother's jewelry after she died. Diane hadn't stolen anything. Grandma Rose was still alive and had given Diane the jewelry herself, but Patricia refused to believe it. The kicker? Both were in the bridal party. Patricia was a bridesmaid, Diane was the mother of the bride. Table 3, the cousin chaos. Me, my brother Tyler, and our cousins, generally fine, except for cousin Brandon. Brandon was that guy who'd started a multi-level marketing scheme and wouldn't shut up about passive income and being your own boss. He tried to recruit everyone at Grandma's 80th birthday while she was opening presents. Brandon's ex-girlfriend, Michelle, who was also invited because she was Jessica's college roommate. They dated for 6 months, broke up badly. Michelle said Brandon had stolen money from her. Brandon said she was bitter about his success. And finally, Grandma Rose. 82 years old, sharp as a tack, zero filter, loved chaos. She'd once told Aunt Beverly at Christmas that Trevor looks like a gigolo from one of those reality shows to his face while he was carving the turkey. This was the guest list. These were the people crammed into one venue. "Maybe it'll be fine," I told Jessica that night on the phone. "Maybe everyone will be on their best behavior." She laughed. It sounded hollow. You don't believe that any more than I do. She was right. The morning of, the calm before. The wedding was set for 4 p.m. at a beautiful estate venue called Willowbrook Manor. Rolling hills, perfectly manicured gardens, a gazebo overlooking a lake. It looked like something out of a Pinterest board. I arrived at noon to help set up. Jessica had asked me to be a bridesmaid, but honestly, I think she just wanted someone there who could mediate if things went sideways. Spoiler alert, I could not. The bridal suite was chaos. 7 bridesmaids, the mother of the bride, the flower girl, Jessica's 5-year-old niece, Chloe, and a very stressed wedding coordinator named Amanda, who kept checking her watch like she was counting down to something terrible. Jessica sat in the makeup chair, getting her foundation applied, trying to look calm. She was not calm. Her hands were shaking. "Everyone's being civil so far," her maid of honor, Rachel, said brightly. "I saw your mom and Aunt Patricia in the hallway earlier, and they actually said hello to each other." "Through gritted teeth," Jessica muttered. "I saw. Mom looked like she was about to have a stroke." Emily, Jessica's older sister and also a bridesmaid, walked in holding her phone. Her face was pale. "Jess," she said quietly, "Aunt Beverly just posted on Facebook." Everyone stopped. "What did she post?" Jessica asked. Emily turned her phone around. The post read, "Headed to my beautiful niece's wedding, so excited to celebrate love. Real love, not whatever some people call love these days. You know who you are." The passive-aggressive smiley face was particularly aggressive. "She's talking about Trevor," Rachel said. "She's definitely talking about Trevor." "Or Jim and Sandra," Emily added. "Could be Jim and Sandra." "Could be both," I said. Jessica closed her eyes. "It's fine. It's fine. She's just posting on Facebook. That's allowed." The makeup artist stepped back. "Don't stress, honey. You'll get wrinkles." Jessica looked like she wanted to scream. 1:47 p.m., the first crack. I was helping arrange the place cards at the reception tables when I heard raised voices outside. Through the window, I saw Uncle Jim and Aunt Beverly in the parking lot. They were 50 feet apart, screaming at each other. "You couldn't help yourself, could you?" Jim yelled. "You had to post that petty garbage on Facebook." "Petty? Petty?" Beverly's voice could have shattered glass. "I cheated on you with a dental hygienist, and you're calling me petty?" Sandra, the dental hygienist in question, stood next to Jim's car looking like she wanted to disappear into the asphalt. "That was 5 years ago, Bev. Let it go." "Let it go? Let it go? You ruined my life, Jim." "I didn't ruin your life. You're dating a child." "Trevor is 29 and he has a business. He teaches spin classes." I stepped away from the window. My heart was pounding. Rachel appeared beside me. "How bad?" "Bad." "Should we tell Jessica?" "Absolutely not." We didn't have to. 2 minutes later, the wedding coordinator burst into the bridal suite. Her professional smile stretched so thin it looked painful. "Everything's fine," she announced. "Just a small discussion in the parking lot. It's been resolved." Jessica's mom, Diane, set down her champagne glass. "Who was it?" "Just some of the guests working through their feelings." "Beverly and Jim," Jessica said flatly. Amanda's smile cracked. "The situation is under control." It was not under control. 2:30 p.m., the alliance nobody saw coming. Here's something nobody expected. Cousin Tiffany and Grandma Rose bonding over mutual disdain for Aunt Linda. I found them in the garden, sitting on a bench, sharing a flask of whiskey. "Tiffany, Grandma, should you be drinking before the ceremony?" Grandma Rose waved me off. "I'm 82. I'll drink when I want." Tiffany grinned. She looked different than the last time I'd seen her, 7 years ago when she'd stormed out of Thanksgiving. Her hair was short now, she had tattoos on her arms, and she looked actually happy. Actually happy. "Your grandmother is hilarious," Tiffany said. "I told her Linda's got a stick up her ass," Grandma Rose announced. "Always has, even when she was dating Paul." I told him, I said, Paul, that woman's wound tighter than a tick. But did he listen? No. Tiffany laughed. She tried to corner me earlier and ask if Lisa and I were still together, like we're in high school. What'd you say? I said, we've been married for 4 years, so yeah, we're still together. She looked like I'd slapped her. Grandma Rose cackled. Good, let her stew. You know what your Aunt Linda's problem is. She's so busy worrying about what everyone else is doing, she forgot to live her own damn life. Tiffany held up the flask. To living our own damn lives. They clinked. I shook my head. This wedding is going to be insane. Oh, honey, Grandma Rose said, it hasn't even started yet. 3:45 p.m. The ceremony begins. Willowbrook Manor's outdoor ceremony space was gorgeous. White chairs arranged in perfect rows, an arbor wrapped in flowers, the lake shimmering in the background. 150 people filled those chairs. I sat in the second row, bridesmaid duties complete for now. My brother Tyler sat next to me, already loosening his tie. Over/under on someone crying? He whispered. Someone appropriate or someone inappropriate? Inappropriate. I'm taking the over. Marcus, the groom, stood at the altar with his groomsmen. He looked nervous but happy. His family seemed normal, well-adjusted. They'd flown in from Oregon, didn't know any of our family drama. Lucky them. The music started. The bridesmaids walked down first. Emily, Rachel, Aunt Patricia, who smiled so hard it looked painful, 3 of Jessica's friends, and finally, me. Then the flower girl, Chloe, who took her job very seriously and threw petals with intense concentration. Then the music changed. Canon in D. Everyone stood. And Jessica appeared. She looked stunning. Her dress was classic, elegant, perfect. Her dad, William, walked beside her, arm in arm. He was crying already, the good kind of crying, the proud dad kind. They made it halfway down the aisle. Then Aunt Beverly's phone rang, loudly. The ringtone was I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. Everyone turned. Beverly, sitting in the third row, fumbled with her purse, her face bright red. Trevor, next to her, looked mortified. Across the aisle, Uncle Jim smirked. Jessica's eye twitched, but she kept walking. They made it to the altar. The officiant, a friend of Marcus's family, smiled warmly. Dearly beloved, he began, we are gathered here today. Wait! Everyone froze. Cousin Brandon stood up from his seat in the back. No. I just want to say, Brandon announced, his voice carrying across the entire ceremony, that love is the greatest investment we can make. And speaking of investments, I'm actually running a special this month on my wellness products, so if anyone wants to talk after... Brandon, sit down, Jessica's dad roared. Brandon blinked. I was just... Sit down. He sat. The officiant cleared his throat. As I was saying, dearly beloved. The ceremony continued. Jessica and Marcus exchanged vows, personal, heartfelt, beautiful. Jessica cried, Marcus cried, most of the guests cried. When the officiant said, if anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace, I swear to God I saw Jessica's entire body tense. Silence. Thank God. Then, by the power vested in me, a phone rang again. Different ringtone this time. Baby Shark. Chloe, the 5-year-old flower girl, had somehow gotten hold of her mom's phone. Emily lunged for her daughter, nearly knocking over the ring bearer. The officiant powered through. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. They kissed. Everyone cheered. Jessica and Marcus walked back down the aisle, beaming, and for a beautiful moment I thought maybe we'd make it through this. Then I saw Aunt Beverly and Uncle Jim glaring at each other across the aisle, and I knew. The ceremony was the easy part. The reception descends into madness. 5:15 p.m., cocktail hour. The tension builds. The reception was inside Willowbrook Manor's ballroom. Crystal chandeliers, round tables with white linens, a dance floor that gleamed under the lights. The DJ, a guy in his 40s named Rick, who looked like he'd seen some things, was setting up in the corner. Cocktail hour started fine. People mingled, drank, ate appetizers. I grabbed the glass of wine and found Tyler near the bar. "So far, so good," he said. "Don't jinx it." "I'm not jinxing anything. I'm just saying, maybe everyone will be cool." That's when we heard Aunt Patricia's voice, sharp and loud. "I'm just saying, Diane, if you hadn't gone behind everyone's back." "I didn't go behind anyone's back," Jessica's mom shouted back. "Mom gave me that jewelry. You're delusional." They were near the hors d'oeuvres table. A small crowd had formed. Tyler sighed. "You were saying?" Jessica appeared at my elbow, still in her wedding dress, holding a champagne flute. Her smile was frozen in place. "If they ruin my wedding," she said quietly, "I will never speak to either of them again." "They're not going to ruin it," I lied. Marcus joined us, slipping his arm around Jessica's waist. "Your family is spirited." "That's one word for it." Rachel, the maid of honor, rushed over. "Okay, so update. I separated your mom and Aunt Patricia. They're on opposite sides of the room. Also, Brandon tried to give someone his business card, but your uncle told him to shove it, so that's handled." "Which uncle?" Jessica asked. "Jim." "Great, Jim's being useful for once." 6 p.m., dinner service, the toast that started it all. The ballroom doors opened. Guests filed to their assigned tables. I watched carefully as everyone found their seats. Aunt Beverly, Trevor, and 2 of Jessica's cousins at table 3. Uncle Jim, Sandra, and Marcus's brother at table 7. Aunt Patricia, her husband, and some family friends at table 5. Tiffany, Lisa, and Grandma Rose at table 8. Grandma had specifically requested to sit with Tiffany. I loved her for that. Dinner was served. Salad, filet mignon, roasted vegetables, everything was elegant, professional. Then came the toasts. Marcus's best man went first. Sweet, funny, appropriate. Everyone laughed, everyone clapped. Then Rachel stood up for the maid of honor toast. "I've known Jessica since college," Rachel began, smiling at the head table, "and in all those years, I've never seen her happier than she is with Marcus. They're perfect for each other." It was a good toast, heartfelt, the kind that makes people tear up. Then Aunt Beverly raised her hand. "Can I say something?" she called out. Rachel froze. I'm not really done. I'll be quick." Beverly stood up, wobbling slightly. She'd definitely had more than one glass of wine. "I just want to say, Jessica, you're so lucky to find real love. Not everyone is so lucky." Her eyes cut to Uncle Jim's table. "Some people settle for liars and homewreckers." The room went silent. Sandra, the dental hygienist, turned bright red. Jim stood up. "Bev, sit down." "Don't tell me what to do, Jim. I'm making a toast." "You're making a scene. The only scene here is you and your mistress." "She's not my mistress. We're engaged." Trevor stood up, Beverly's boyfriend. "Hey man, don't talk to her like that." "Oh, shut up, Trevor," Jim snapped. "This doesn't concern you." "Anything that concerns Beverly concerns me. You're 29. So?" Jessica stood up at the head table. Her face was white. "Everyone sit down." They didn't sit down. "You know what, Bev?" Jim shouted. "You've been bitter for 5 years. 5 years. Maybe it's time to move on." "Move on? You think I can just move on from 15 years of marriage?" "You sure moved on to him fast enough," Jim pointed at Trevor. "At least Trevor actually cares about me. He cares about your money." Trevor lunged forward. Marcus's brother grabbed him. Uncle William, Jessica's dad, stood up. "Enough! This is my daughter's wedding. Sit down now." Slowly, reluctantly, they sat. The room was dead silent. Rachel, still standing with the microphone, looked like she wanted to die. "So, yeah, congratulations, Jessica and Marcus." She sat down. Nobody clapped. 6:45 p.m., the dinner that wasn't. After the toast disaster, people tried to eat, but the tension was suffocating. Aunt Beverly was crying at her table. Trevor was rubbing her back, glaring at Uncle Jim. Jim and Sandra were whispering furiously. Aunt Patricia was on her phone, probably texting someone about the drama. Jessica looked like she was about to throw up. I walked over to the head table. "You okay?" "No," she said flatly. "I'm not okay. This is a nightmare." Marcus squeezed her hand. "Hey, we're married. That's all that matters, right?" She tried to smile, failed. Emily appeared, kneeling next to Jessica's chair. "Do you want me to kick them out? Because I will physically remove Beverly and Jim from this venue." "You can't kick out my aunt and uncle. Watch me." Rachel joined us. "Maybe we should skip to the cake cutting or the first dance. Get everyone focused on something else." Before Jessica could answer, Grandma Rose's voice cut through the room. "Can everyone stop acting like children?" All eyes turned to table 8. Grandma Rose stood up, steadying herself on her cane. At 82, she was barely 5 feet tall, but when she spoke, everyone listened. "I have been to a lot of weddings, and this is, hands down, the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. Beverly, Jim, you're both acting like fools. This is Jessica's day. Jessica's, not yours. So either shut up and eat your dinner or leave." She sat back down. Silence. Then, slowly, people started eating again. Jessica let out a shaky breath. "Thank God for Grandma." "Best woman here," Tiffany called from table 8. Grandma Rose raised her wine glass. 7:30 p.m., the dance floor opens, where it gets weird. After dinner, DJ Rick fired up the music. "Ladies and gentlemen, for their first dance, please welcome Mr. and Mrs. Jessica and Marcus Thompson." Everyone clapped. Jessica and Marcus took the floor. Their song was Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. Classic choice, safe choice. They danced, and for 3 minutes and 47 seconds, everything was perfect. Then the song ended, and DJ Rick announced, "All right, let's get everyone on the floor. Come on, people, let's dance." Uptown funk blasted through the speakers. People flooded the dance floor. The mood lifted, finally. I danced with Tyler, with Rachel, with some of Marcus's cousins. It was fun, genuinely fun. Then the electric slide came on. If you've never seen the electric slide turn into a passive-aggressive competition, you haven't lived. It started innocently. People lined up, doing the steps, laughing. Then Aunt Beverly cut in front of Aunt Patricia. Patricia glared. "Excuse you? It's a dance floor, Patricia. There's no assigned spots. You did that on purpose. Maybe if you moved faster. Maybe if you weren't such a..." And they were off. The electric slide became a showdown. Beverly stepped harder, sharper, exaggerated every move. Patricia matched her, adding aggressive hip swings. People started noticing. Tyler whispered, "Are they competing? Oh my God, they are." Rachel started filming. The song ended. Everyone clapped. Beverly and Patricia were both breathing hard, staring each other down. Then Cupid's Shuffle started. Same thing. This time, other people joined in. Cousin Brandon started doing elaborate spins, trying to show off. Uncle Jim tried to outdance Trevor. Trevor, being a CrossFit instructor, had actual rhythm, which made Jim look worse. The dance floor turned into a thing. Jessica was laughing now. Actual, real laughter. "This is insane." "It's amazing," Marcus said, grinning. And for a few songs, it was. 8:15 p.m. the father-daughter dance, or the moment everything broke. DJ Rick's voice came over the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the father-daughter dance. Jessica, your dad's waiting. The opening notes of My Girl by The Temptations started playing. Jessica walked onto the dance floor. Her dad, William, met her there, smiling, eyes misty. They started dancing. It was sweet, touching. William whispered something to Jessica and she laughed. I was filming on my phone. This was a moment she'd want to remember. Then, halfway through the song, Aunt Patricia stood up. She walked onto the dance floor. "Excuse me," she said loudly. "Can I cut in?" Everyone stared. William stopped dancing. "Patricia, this is the father-daughter dance." "I know, but I'm her aunt, and I've been there for Jessica her whole life, haven't I, Jess?" Jessica looked frozen. "Aunt Patricia? I mean, I was there when you were born. I babysat you. I taught you how to ride a bike." "Patricia," Diane said from her table, her voice sharp, "sit down." "Why should I sit down, Diane? You think you're the only one who gets to have a moment with Jessica? I'm her mother. And I'm her aunt, who's actually been honest with her." William stepped between them. "Patricia, this isn't the time." "Isn't the time? Isn't the time? When is the time, William? When is someone going to tell Jessica the truth about what her mother did?" Jessica's face went white. "What are you talking about? Your mother stole from Grandma Rose. She stole the jewelry and she's been lying about it for years." Diane shot to her feet. "I did not steal anything." "You did, and everyone knows it." "Grandma gave me the jewelry. She's standing right there. Mom, tell her." Grandma Rose, still at table 8, sighed. "For God's sakes, Patricia, I gave Diane the jewelry. I'm not dead. I can still make decisions." Patricia's face flushed. You gave it to her?" "Yes, 10 years ago, because Diane actually visited me. You were too busy with your book club." The room was silent. Patricia looked around. Everyone was staring at her. I didn't know." "Because you didn't ask," Grandma Rose snapped. "You just assumed, and you've been holding a grudge for 3 years over nothing." Patricia started crying. She turned and ran out of the ballroom. Her husband, after a moment's hesitation, followed her. The music had stopped. DJ Rick looked terrified. Jessica stood in the middle of the dance floor, shaking. Marcus rushed to her side. "Jess, I can't do this," she whispered. "I can't." And she walked out. 8:30 p.m., the breaking point. I found Jessica in the bridal suite, sitting on the couch, still in her bridal dress, mascara running down her face. Emily and Rachel were already there. "I hate them," Jessica said. "I hate them all." "You don't hate them," Emily said softly. "Yes, I do. I hate that they can't put their drama aside for one day." 1. I hate that Aunt Patricia made my dad's dance about her. I hate that Beverly and Jim can't be in the same room without screaming. I hate that I spent $40,000 on this wedding and it's been a disaster. It hasn't been a total disaster, Rachel tried. Jessica laughed bitterly. My aunt just accused my mom of being a thief in front of 150 people. But your grandma defended her, I pointed out. That was pretty badass. Jessica wiped her eyes. "I don't want to go back out there." "You have to," Emily said. "You have to cut the cake, throw the bouquet. You can't let them win. They already won." "No," I said firmly, "they didn't. Because you know what? They're embarrassed. Every single one of them. Patricia ran out crying. Beverly's been sulking since dinner. They know they screwed up. But if you hide in here, they'll think they were right to act that way. You need to go back out there, finish your wedding, and show them that you're the adult in the room." Jessica looked at me, then at Emily and Rachel. "Okay," she said finally. "Okay, let's do this." 9 p.m., the comeback. Jessica walked back into the ballroom. Every head turned. Marcus met her at the door, took her hand. DJ Rick, bless him, immediately started playing Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Jessica laughed, actually laughed, and pulled Marcus onto the dance floor. They danced, terribly, goofily, like two people who didn't care what anyone thought. And slowly, other people joined in. Tyler grabbed me. Come on. We danced. Tiffany and Lisa danced together, spinning and laughing. Grandma Rose got up and shuffled to the beat, cane in hand. Even Brandon danced, though nobody danced near him. The energy shifted. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. 9:45 p.m. The cake cutting. Almost normal. The cake was 4 tiers, white with gold accents. Beautiful. Jessica and Marcus stood behind it, holding the knife together. On 3, Marcus said. 1, 2, they cut. Everyone clapped. They fed each other cake. Marcus was sweet about it, didn't smash it in her face. People took photos. For 5 whole minutes, it was a normal wedding. Then DJ Rick announced, "All right, single ladies, time for the bouquet toss." Jessica walked to the middle of the dance floor, her back to the crowd of women who'd gathered. "Ready?" she called. "Ready!" they shouted back. She threw it. The bouquet sailed through the air in a perfect arc and hit Aunt Beverly directly in the face. Thwack! Beverly stumbled backward. Trevor caught her. The ballroom went silent. Then Grandma Rose started cackling. "Best throw of the night!" she shouted. People started laughing, hesitantly at first, then genuinely. Even Brandon started laughing, holding the bouquet, her nose bright red. "I deserved that," Everly admitted. Uncle Jim, across the room, raised his beer. "You really did." And somehow, that broke the tension. 10:30 p.m. The unexpected apologies. Near the end of the night, as people started leaving, something strange happened. Aunt Patricia came back. She walked up to Jessica, who was sitting at the head table, exhausted. "Jessica," Patricia said quietly, "I'm so sorry. I ruined your dance. I ruined your day. I was wrong about everything." Jessica looked up at her. "Yeah, you were." Patricia flinched. "But," Jessica continued, "you apologized, so thank you." Patricia hugged her. Jessica hugged back. Aunt Beverly approached Diane. "I've been horrible to you for years," Beverly said, "and I'm sorry. You didn't deserve it." Diane blinked. "Are you drunk?" "Extremely, but I mean it." They both laughed. Uncle Jim walked up to Trevor. "You seem like a decent guy," Jim said. Trevor nodded. "Thanks. Take care of her." "I will." They shook hands. 11 p.m. The send-off. Jessica and Marcus left in a vintage car, just married sign on the back, cans rattling behind them. We all stood outside, waving. As the car pulled away, Jessica stuck her head out the window and shouted, "I love you all, but you're insane." We cheered. Tyler put his arm around me. "Well, that happened." "That happened," I agreed. Grandma Rose shuffled up to us. "Best wedding I've ever been to." "Really?" "Oh, hell yes. I'll be talking about this for years." She walked away, cackling. What came after? The next day, I texted Jessica. "Me, you alive?" Jessica, "Barely. Worth it though." "Me, you sure?" Jessica, "Yeah, we're married. That's what matters." Jessica, "Also, Aunt Patricia texted me this morning and apologized again, like a real apology." Me, "Character growth?" Jessica, "Maybe." In the weeks after the wedding, I thought a lot about what happened. The chaos, the drama, the apologies, and I realized something. That wedding wasn't just about Jessica and Marcus. It was about a family full of people who'd never learned how to communicate, who held grudges for years over misunderstandings, who made everything about themselves because they didn't know how to set boundaries or respect other people's. And honestly, I was part of the problem too. I'd watched that toxicity for years and never said anything, never pushed back, because I didn't want to rock the boat. But you know what? The boat needed to be rocked. Look, If you're watching this and nodding along, I need you to know something. You're not crazy. You're not dramatic. You're not too sensitive. If your family makes you feel anxious, drained, or like you have to walk on eggshells, that's real. That's valid. And you deserve better. Here's what I learned and what I started doing after that wedding. Recognizing toxic patterns. Toxic family behavior isn't always obvious. It's not always screaming matches and thrown bouquets. Sometimes it's guilt tripping. After everything I've done for you, or I guess you don't care about family. Boundary violations, showing up unannounced, demanding your time, making decisions for you. Passive aggression, like Aunt Beverly's Facebook post. Playing the victim, turning everything into how they've been wronged. Triangulation, getting other family members involved in conflicts that don't concern them. After the wedding, I started paying attention to how my family communicated, and I saw these patterns everywhere. The first step to change? Seeing it clearly. Setting boundaries without guilt. This is the hard part, because when you set boundaries with family, they'll push back. They'll say you're being selfish or cold or forgetting where you came from. But boundaries aren't mean. They're necessary. Here is what I started saying. When someone guilt trips me, I understand you're upset, but I've made my decision. When someone violates my time, I need advance notice before visits. I can't accommodate drop-ins. When someone tries to drag me into drama, I love you both, but I'm not getting involved in this. When someone won't respect a boundary, I've asked you not to do this. If it continues, I'll need to step back from our relationship. The key? Say it calmly. Say it clearly. Don't over-explain. You don't owe anyone a dissertation on why you deserve basic respect. Choosing your battles. Not every toxic moment needs a confrontation. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to let it go, to gray rock, give boring, non-emotional responses, to just not engage. I started asking myself, will calling this out change anything, or will it just drain me? If the answer was drain me, I walked away. Aunt Beverly's Facebook post? Not worth fighting over. Cousin Brandon's MLM pitch? Ignored him. But Aunt Patricia ruining Jessica's father-daughter dance? That needed to be addressed. Pick your battles, protect your energy. The importance of consequences. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Boundaries without consequences are just suggestions. If you say, don't call me after 9 p.m., and someone calls you at 10 p.m., and you answer, you've taught them the boundary doesn't matter. After the wedding, I started enforcing consequences. Cousin who kept asking for money stopped answering his calls. Aunts who made passive-aggressive comments about my life choices limited our interactions to group settings only. Relative who forgot my boundaries repeatedly stopped inviting them to things. It felt harsh at first, but you know what? The people who actually cared adjusted their behavior. The people who didn't, well, they showed me who they were. Protecting your peace. You know what changed my life? Realizing I didn't have to attend every family event. I started asking myself, will going to this make me happy or will it make me miserable? If the answer was miserable, I didn't go. And when people asked why, I said, I'm not able to make it, but I hope you have a great time. No excuses, no elaborate explanations, just no. I also started leaving events early. If I felt my energy draining, I'd say goodbye and go. Your presence is a gift, not an obligation. Treat it that way. Building chosen family. This is the big one. Family isn't just about blood. It's about who shows up for you, who respects you, who makes you feel safe. After Jessica's wedding, I started investing more in my chosen family, my friends, my partner, the people who didn't make me feel anxious or small. And you know what? My life got so much better. I'm not saying cut off your blood relatives. That's a personal decision, and it's not always possible or necessary. But I am saying surround yourself with people who lift you up. Life's too short to spend it walking on eggshells. 7. Therapy helps. Real talk. I started seeing a therapist after that wedding because I realized I had patterns too. I was a people pleaser. I avoided conflict. I made myself smaller to keep the peace. Therapy helped me understand why I did that, and more importantly, how to stop. If you're dealing with family trauma, toxic dynamics, or just feeling overwhelmed, please consider talking to someone. You don't have to carry this alone. The aftermath, where everyone is now. 6 months after the wedding, here's where things stand. Jessica and Marcus are thriving. They moved to a new city, started fresh, and only see the family on holidays. Jessica says it's the best decision she ever made. Aunt Patricia actually went to therapy. She apologized to Diane multiple times, and they're slowly rebuilding their relationship. Aunt Beverly and Uncle Jim are civil now. Not friends, but they can be in the same room without screaming. Progress. Trevor and Beverly broke up. Turned out Grandma Rose was right. He was after her money. Beverly's dating someone age-appropriate now. Tiffany and Lisa are doing great. Tiffany's parents are still working on it, but Tiffany stopped waiting for their approval. She's living her life. Grandma Rose is still the MVP. She turned 83 last month and told everyone at her birthday party that she's too old for family drama, and if anyone started anything, she'd haunt them after she dies. We believe her. And me? I set boundaries. I chose my peace. I stopped attending events that made me miserable, and I'm happier than I've been in years. If you made it this far, thank you. I know this was a lot, a chaotic wedding story that spiraled into a conversation about family trauma and boundaries. But here's the thing. That wedding wasn't just about one day. It was about years of unresolved conflict, unspoken resentments, and people who never learned how to communicate. And I'm willing to bet that if you're watching this, you've experienced something similar. Maybe not a bouquet to the face, though honestly, iconic. But the guilt tripping, the drama, the feeling like you can't escape. I want you to know you're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to choose relationships that don't drain you. You're not selfish. You're not mean. You're not a bad person. You're just finally putting yourself first. And that's not only okay, it's necessary. So yeah, that bouquet did hit Aunt Linda in the face. Okay, it was Beverly, but Linda deserved it too. And honestly, it was the most honest moment of the whole wedding. Family is complicated. Weddings are messy. Life is chaotic. But you deserve relationships that don't require you to shrink yourself. If this story resonated with you, if you've survived your own chaotic family event, hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about real talk for people navigating complicated families, messy relationships, and the journey to protecting your peace. Drop a comment below and tell me your wildest family wedding story. I read every single one, and trust me, after this, I thought I'd heard it all. Prove me wrong. And if you need to hear it, you're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to say no. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.